Okay, so the next process is to tape off the truck and get everything covered so we don't get bed liner on the things that don't need to have bed liner. I just have a box of plastic here that I got from the local hardware store. It's just painter's plastic, nothing fancy. Got a roll of 3/4 inch tape and a roll of 1.5 inch tape. This is 3M yellow. You don't need fine line tape. You don't need anything fancy. You just need tape to hold plastic down that's going to stick to the surface that you're putting it on and to keep the truck covered. So, going to get the tailgate taken off, get the truck masked up, and then we'll start sanding. It's caught under there. Tailgate's off of the truck. We're in the bed of the truck. I've got the tape. I always start at the head wall closest to the cab. Tape one side down, tape the other side down, then come and actually tape the open space where the tailgate and the truck obviously meet together. So I try to tape coming into the truck, out of the truck, so I'm not in and out of it so many times. I want to minimize how much time I spend in the bed of the truck trying to get in and out. Start to the front, work your way to the back. So that's where we're going to go. All right, so just a tip for when you're taping, I never actually tape an edge like flat, because if you tape an edge flat, it's going to be hard to get it up if you have gloves on. So I always fold the tape and make a loop on the end of it so you have a tag to pull, just as a good point of reference. So this is where we're going to start with taping at the front of the truck. All right, looped corner. All right. Okay. I'm gonna take the 1.5 inch tape and I'm gonna run the rail cap with tape. I only prefer using one piece of tape. If it makes you feel more comfortable to run a 3/4 line down and then run this 1.5 inch on top of it for the plastic, you can do that. I'm gonna do it with one piece. And I'm always careful to have a little bit of overhang on the bottom of the tape, so it overhangs just a little under the plastic rail cap so that I do not get bed liner coming up on the rail cap. And this works the same way with trucks that don't have rail caps as well. And once I get to the end, I don't cut my tape at the very end. I give myself a little bit of bleed over, so when I'm putting plastic in, I can cover all the areas with the plastic. But you'll see that as we go along in the process. All right, so just as a point of reference, when I plastic a truck, I always try to go a foot past the bed into the cab, so we've got plastic that we can tuck and cover up everything. So this plastic, this is the end piece. It comes out really well. So I just take my end piece and I pop it on my tape that I already have over the bed cap. Boom, we're on there. And I just go down the way of the truck. Making sure I'm completely covered. All right, we're at the back of the truck. The rubber that keeps the tailgate from rattling, I just flip them over. No need to take them off. I don't tape the perimeter of the truck until I get the plastic up here. Hence the reason why I have this little hangover. That's a really important piece of it. So the way that I do this on a pretty clean scale is you can either do a 3/4 to line the perimeter, which I'll show you the 3/4 lining the perimeter. It is an efficient way to do it, but I do it a little differently. But you can take this 3/4 and line your perimeter just like this, so that you have a nice clean edge. And always leave some hangover on the end just in case you need to be able to pull tape when you have gloves on your fingers, so it doesn't make it a difficult space to pull tape. So you can either do it with this 3/4 as a trim piece, or how I like to do it is I take an entire piece of this 1.5 and make sure that I place it on the edge of the plastic, and I pull my piece of tape and place it. But in this moment, I'll just show you how I tape the 3/4 on top of, put the 1.5 on top of the 3/4. So now that we've got this taken care of, I'm gonna fold this over here, tuck this under the plastic. Don't just tape the plastic down straight with the corner. Leave you a little loop. It's always just a beneficial piece if you've got to deal with plastic, okay? But I leave that loop there so that I can take this and close the loop, and then I can take this 1.5 tape, get on the edge of the plastic, and now tape where I put that trim line. All right, I'm gonna go all the way around. All right, now, also imperative, down in this bottom corner, don't just run the plastic from the corner out. Make a little loop in there so you have a little bit of relief in the plastic so that you can pull it around the bumper and actually snug it tight against the bed. If you were to pull this corner straight, you won't have any relief to pull the plastic around the bumper and underneath the truck. So it just will become more of a pain than anything else. So always make sure you give a loop. So every corner that you have, put a loop in. Loop in the bottom, loop up top. It's going to be the same across the truck, okay? All right, so we're going to pull plastic across. It's always good to get plastic in a box because you can leave the plastic on the floor. You can literally just slide the box on the floor and pull your plastic out. It helps you to make sure your plastic goes where it needs to be. So on the very edge of the truck, I like to just get my plastic set with my little extra folded out corner over here. I like to put my plastic flat up against the truck. So I'm running one tape line. And this is very similar to how I do it on the bed cap, where I tape the edge and leave the underside so I can tuck the plastic underneath it. So run tape line. I want to make sure on this Dodge they have the little plastic piece that holds the connector for the camera, so I always tape right above that. So when it's time to put it back in, the bed liner is not interfering with it. It's also very important to get a little edge rollover to what you're doing so that you don't stop your bed liner on an abrupt edge. So we always come with a little bit of rollover. It's a protection for you as an applicator and protection for the owner of the truck. Protection for you as an applicator so that your bed liner doesn't have any areas to have an edge that's going to get right to it to try to promote some kind of lifting or tearing or ripping. If you have an edge that's folded over, you're completely covered every time you do this. See my looped edge down here? I'm just going to tuck it in, drop some tape in that little tucked in corner, and we're moving to the other side. So you just repeat what we did over here, you repeat it over here. The tailgate is very simple. Literally just make a perimeter around the tailgate. Same way you put plastic around the bed of the truck, same thing with the tailgate. Be mindful of your corners when you're putting your tape down. That's pretty much it. Just as a point of reference, where the tailgate starts to bevel over and change from being flat from the top to flat on the side, it's where you want to put your tape line. There's always a question about where should I put the tape line. Just put the tape line where the transition starts to happen. I use 1.5 inch tape all the way around tailgate because I'm leaving tape open so I can just stick plastic right to it. Boom. Start in a corner, just work your way around. Do-do-do-do. It's always good to have some tape on the corner you can get your plastic stuck to so you can get it taped up. Cut your plastic. Gotta actually cut it though. All right, I got an overlap in this corner right here. And that overlap is simply good for you to be able to tie the plastic together. I just so happen to be using some horses, so I take one edge, wrap around one leg, one direction, take the other leg, the other portion, and wrap around the same leg the other direction. Done. Also take a piece of tape and just lock that enclosure down so you don't get bed liner floating. Voila. You don't necessarily have to use full-size plastic to wrap it. You can use paper and just let it hang down, but I like to cover it completely whenever I'm covering a tailgate that's actually on some horses.